What's up, historians and fellow ranters? It's December 9th, which means the new digital format, Alchemy, dropped today. So let's take a quick look at this set and some of these decks that look pretty fun and super powerful on this. Holy crap, all my gold's gone again. Damn you, Watsy, you always win episode of Mana Rant. But first, I'm Hoshi, the aging alchemist, loather of lightning bolts, and digital card digester. Because I'm eating them up. And it's and you are listening to the Mana Rant podcast, where I am always joined by a man who claims he can fit an entire large pretzel down his throat faster and with less gag reflex than any German. We have DrunkenDork.
This is absolutely true, yeah. There is probably proof out there somewhere. Someone recorded with their old Nokia flip phone or like Motorola flip phone, me eating a pretzel in record time. It was magnificent. I will never forget this day. Probably one of the proudest moments of my entire life, which really says something about my achievements in life. You know?
I would say you tell your kids about it, but you don't have any, so you probably just gather your dogs around. Or
yeah,
whatever.
I do. I'm like, gather around, little guys.
Listen up,
Let me
pups.
tell you an old tale.
No one thought I was gonna win this one, but man, did I shove that pretzel down my throat.
The odds were against me, guys. There was at least 5-1, but I showed them in the end.
Tears streaming down my eyes. All right, and Paula's not here, so anyways, welcome back to the show, and thank you for joining us. We are the Mana Dorks, and this is Mana Rant, where we talk about everything in Magic the Gathering, but mainly focus on the historic format. Our show follows the phases of Magic, and our main phases are going to be the main topics, and this week we are going over just like a grand overview of Alchemy, like all the cards, some of the decks we think are going to be pretty strong, and like just what we think of it, because it, like we were saying, it just dropped today. So let's just hop straight into the show with our Untap phase.
Untap.
And Untap is where we untap some drinks to enjoy during the show. So, Drunken, what do you got to untap tonight?
So I'm going like I did last week. I have coffee and a beer.
Nice.
So right before the show started, my wife came back with pho and Vietnamese coffee, which I fucking love Vietnamese coffee.
Yeah, it's good. It's strong.
And anyway, the beer I'm drinking is very off-brand for me. It's a pale ale. So
Okay.
That's what I'm drinking tonight.
Nice, dude.
What about you? What concoction? What crazy alchemist concoction do you have tonight?
We got this one right here, and Jamie's calling this one No Figs Given. And it is bourbon, fig, cardamom, and vanilla liqueur with honey and lemon juice. So, oh man,
figured you'd have a whiskey drink, huh? You see what I did there?
I did see that, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Man, yeah, this one's right up my this one's right up my alley. It's whiskey, but yeah, the figs in here and stuff. Oh man, this is great. But with you, man, I've had coffee beer before, but I don't think I've ever had them like side by side, like a beer with a coffee. I don't know.
Oh man,
Yeah.
On vacation, that's how I live. I mean, you saw me firsthand. I am just a mess on vacation.
Yeah, always.
But it's like I start my day. Yeah, always. That's true. I start my day on vacation, coffee and beer, and that's basically what's happening right now because I woke up not too long ago.
The breakfast of champions.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right. Well, that was Untap. So cheers, everybody. And with that, we will move into our upkeep phase.
Upkeep? Get ya upkeep!
Oh, man. That's great. And upkeep is our Reddit rant segment, where we look to the internet for people bitching and complaining about Magic the Gathering. And this week, we're going to Facebook. because there's a lot of alchemy talk going around. So let's see what we got here. This is on the Magic the Gathering Arena MTG, and this is Brandon. And Brandon says, Alchemy can kiss my anus. All my decks I spent the last year playing and updating are now unplayable because of this fair rebalancing of cards. What the fuck? So much for getting my game in before work. I gotta go mow the field and get in my tractor and play with the hogs. Alright, that last part wasn't there. Just to be clear, I don't.
Pretty good. I like it.
I don't know. I don't know if this guy's Southern or anything. I just got, I just felt it. I felt it from this post. I think it was the Alchemy can kiss my part of it.
Honestly, the music and the accent sound like you're more from like up here, man. Like my neighbors. Yeah. And God, I can't think, like Idaho or something like that.
Maybe country accent. I don't know. We all know my accents are not spot on ever. But yeah. Anyways, what do you think about Brendan here? Can Alchemy also kiss your anus, Drunken?
No, you know what? I've had fun today. I've only played. I mean, it just came out today. I've only played it for about an hour so far. And I thought it was cool. I was just playing mono white though, and just like the release of any set, usually there's just a lot of garbage out there. So I was just stomping people,
nice,
like, absolutely murdering them. And I like it so far. I'm very interested if Wizards is going to keep up with it, and I think they are. I think this is probably going to be their new set that they fucking just invest all of their time into. But yeah, you know what, Braden Burnett.
Braden, yeah, that's it.
I don't know what to say, man, or woman, or whoever you are.
I just don't get what he's bitching about. Like, I get it if you don't like alchemy just like as a concept or whatever, but I don't understand how it's ruined his life at all.
Well, I'm assuming he or she is talking about historic.
I guess. He said, all my decks I spent the last year updating are now unplayable. I don't think so at all. I think all the historic decks are just fine. I don't think it really hit, sure, a couple things got nerfed a little bit, but like, were all of those cards in his like one deck that he had? I don't know. He's just like, I can't even play anymore. The comments
he had.
The comments, they're just like, I don't know, just don't play like alchemy, like, just play standards fine, play historic, whatever. I don't know. Maybe he just doesn't understand what's going on.
Maybe he just really screwed his historic decks, but honestly, I don't think the changes are that hard to historic. Like, they make a difference, but I don't think they affected.
I just don't think most of the cards that got nerfed, like, really, and like, I can't imagine a deck that had all of those nerfed cards in it where it would actually make that.
Sounds like a horrible deck to start with.
Exactly. Yeah, you probably wouldn't want to play that one. All right. Well, anyways, that was Reddit Rant. If you guys have if you find someone else who wants their anus kissed out there on the internet, send it our way. We like that stuff. And with that, we'll move into our draw phase.
Let's draw.
All right, and draw is our, it's normally our news segment, but this week we're just going to talk about alchemy and like what our initial thoughts are on it, because both of us have played it so far. So, Drunken, you were just saying that you were crushing people because in general people play like they're trying out new stuff, they're excited about new cards, and most decks that people try out I think are just terrible right off the bat. So you were doing some noob sniping basically right now with like a pretty solid deck. I think you were playing mono white, you said?
Yeah, mono white. I kind of veered off there and just started talking prematurely. The mono white deck, basically what I did is I grabbed a mono white deck from standard, and then I took a few cards out, added a few of the new cards in. Yeah. And I'm really enjoying it. I won't talk about the cards I added in yet because we're going to go over them later. But yeah, I thought it was a lot of fun, and I was crushing people mostly because people are playing like weird ass decks and trying out these new alchemy cards, and trying out Omnath and shit like that, and trying to make it work. And I just don't think Omnath is in a good position in the current standard or alchemy.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, because I crafted Omnath because he's one of the more controversial cards to like come out of this. They just brought him back, and one of the things I do want to say about this was he just didn't come back into your library. You had to craft him again. So those wild cards that you got for when they banned him, they got him back. If you want to play Omnath now, they're getting their wild cards back, unfortunately. So they hit me with that. I was like, what the hell? I know I had Omnath, and they're all gone now. And so I was just like, wizards. Why?
Yeah, it's pretty frustrating.
Right? You couldn't just let me have these 4 fucking wild cards. You really had to make me recraft these. It's a dick move, I feel like. They could have just let me have this one time. It's never gonna happen again, just let me have it this one time. But they didn't. And I agree with you. Omnath is he's definitely been dropped a peg. I don't think him being 5 mana is really like the killer for him. I think it's that draw, that card that you drew with him made a huge difference, especially like when you start stalling out with that deck. So I think he just needs a little bit of tooling, and it could probably be a good deck. I just grabbed something real quick off the internet and was like, I want to play, I want to see what Omnath is like, and so I've messed with it a little bit, but not enough to like for sure say that it's not a good deck. So
I will say I did play Omnath in Historic like before we started the show. I was like, really? Hoshi, I'll record some games, and we'll have something to play during the draw, like this current phase. And I lost 3 consecutive games. That doesn't mean anything, because I made the deck super quick, but definitely not as powerful as it once was. I think you're right. The scry, it affects it, and the one extra mana, it definitely affects it too. Being able to throw it out on turn 3.
I think it affects it more in Historic probably than Alchemy, because Historic is going to be like a faster pace than the like Alchemy actually will be, which is going to be standard, so slowed down significantly. So I think it's probably playable in Alchemy, but I think unless they got a real spicy brew going out, Omnath is just not going to cut it in Historic. So overall, Alchemy, I think it's cool so far. What do you think? Do you think it's worth dropping Historic for? Do you think you'll bounce back and forth between it? Do you think you'll play this more than Standard, which you played basically 0 of before? Or?
Yeah. So Alchemy, I definitely not as good as Historic.
No.
I do think it's fun. I never played Standard. I do see myself bouncing back and forth between the two. Like I said, when I was going off on a tangent in the draw or in the untap or whatever, I think this is probably going forward. This is going to be one of their most popular formats. And so they're going to invest a lot of time and a lot of effort into it, and have something that's constantly evolving, which I think personally is really fun. It's hard on the wallet, but
for sure.
It makes like a more interesting format to me, where like you constantly have to be changing your decks around, and I like that.
Yeah. Well, they
very
said,
involved.
They said now that the pace is going to be like the set comes out, and then a month after the set drops, they're going to drop like an Alchemy thing or whatever. I'm not sure like how many Alchemy cards they're going to like inject into the format, but like they're gonna do like a pack or a set or something. Maybe it'll be a full set like this, who knows. And so that's a lot, man. That's gonna be a lot to keep up with. And but
Historic's gonna be wild, man.
I know, right? If we're getting that, and if we're getting Historic drops every once in a while, like, man, I was excited because I had saved some gold up, and I had like around 70 grand in gold. I was like, I've never had this much just like sitting around, like just holding on to, and now it's like, I just decimated me today because they had those 8-bit snowlands that came out too. And man, we were talking about that before. I'm a sucker for cool land art because, you're going to use it. And then this now. But was there any codes or anything? I know they gave us like a bunch of Alchemy cards, but I didn't see any codes out. Did you see any?
I didn't look through it. I'm sure there is. Yeah, I haven't looked through it yet though.
Okay, well, yeah, let us know.
One thing
in
I'm
chat.
curious of, do you know if this alchemy set, like going forward as cards rotate out, does this stay in alchemy forever, or does this also rotate out with like Innistrad?
That is a great question. I do not know. I assume it would rotate out and go into historic, right?
I think so.
Because because we know it follows the actual blocks of standard. So I imagine these blocks of alchemy would follow it too, and then they would just rotate out into historic. But yeah, okay. Apparently there's no alchemy code. You just get it immediately when you log
Thanks,
in.
Chikavia.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But yeah, that's
so actually thinking about it logically. So it's called Alchemy. It's called the Innistrad set.
yeah.
When you look it up, like in Scryfall or whatever, or Gatherer. So I'm assuming then, yeah, it probably absolutely rotates out with Innistrad. I think this set is actually attached to Innistrad.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. They love their standard, so they probably want this to like mimic it as close as possible, but be the digital hyped up version of it. So. Yeah, pretty cool. Yeah, I like it so far. I like it way more than standard, that's for sure. All right, well, let's go into Maze Phase 1 and check out some of these cards.
Phase 1.
All right, so we are going to just do like a quick set review. We're not going to blather on like we normally do and just talk about the cards that we think are good, and we're just going to go through it in classic Wooberg style, and we're going to start off with the white cards. So DrunkenDork, take away on the first card we got here.
Sure. It's Angel of Eternal Dawn. It is 2 and a white for a creature angel at rare, and it says it has flying. It says when Angel of Eternal Dawn enters the battlefield, it becomes day. And it can't become night. Your opponents can't cast spells with mana value greater than the number of turns they have begun, which is really an interesting mechanic. And it is a 2/4. Cool card. I don't see it being played too much in Historic.
I kind of disagree with you there because this shuts down a lot of shenanigans like Mizzix Mastery and stuff. Anything that you're because you cast that, right? So they can't cast this spell. So I think this shuts down like a lot of shenanigans that's really going on. Anything that like cast anything from the graveyard, this stops it. Sure, the day and night stuff isn't relevant, but yeah, that if like the amount of turns, so it stops you from ramping basically. It makes Llanowar Elf not really worth anything if you're trying to like cast that 3-drop, which we talked about how important getting that like 3-drop really is down in Historic. So if you go first and you drop this, you really might slow down your opponent a lot. So I actually do think this is relevant. Maybe more in like a sideboard situation. In like
I think that's where it's gonna. Yeah, I think that's where it's gonna be big.
Yeah, and a best of 3 type thing. I mean, maybe you can shove it in a best of 1 Angels deck, but I don't know. I still think it has a spot in Historic for sure.
Cool.
All right, next we got Angel of Unity, which is a 2-drop angel cleric, of course, at 1/3. Man, they love their clerics right now. And it has a flying lifelink whenever Angel of Unity enters the battlefield, or you cast a party spell, choose a party creature card in your hand, and it perpetually gets +1/+1. And so a party creature is like a cleric, rogue, warrior, or wizard. If you have any of those in your hand, it gets +1/+1, and whenever you cast one. So if you run a cleric deck, this fits right into it. So anything like with any of those creature types it's considered a party. So I think this is pretty decent. I do not think it's historic level power, but I do think that this has a spot in Alchemy. And then next, Drunken.
Captain Eberhart is 1 and a white for a legendary creature, human soldier. We already read this card. It has double strike and spells cast from among cards you draw. This turn costs 1 less to cast, and spells cast from among cards your opponent drew this turn costs 1 more to cast. And it is a 1/1. So I actually played with this card today when my mono white deck, and it runs really good. The thing is like that I didn't really get out of it when reading the card is they don't always cost 1 less. So they cost 1 less that turn. Yeah. So you draw the card and it costs 1 less that turn. I didn't understand. I thought it always cost 1 less.
No, it wasn't perpetually.
And then, and so, but still, this card is great. It is a lightning bolt. they almost got rid of it every time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's a really fun card.
Yeah, it looks sweet. And so next we got Divine Purge, which is a 3-drop sorcery, 2 white and a colorless for exile all artifacts and creatures with mana value 3 or less. They perpetually gain. This spell costs 2 more to cast, and this permanent enters the battlefield tapped. For as long as each of them remain exiled, its owner may play it. This, I think, definitely has a spot in Historic. We have such a fast format. Being able to like wipe the board like this and make, especially if you're going against a hyper aggressive deck, making things cost 2 more is, very taxing on decks like that. So I don't know if this would be a sideboard card in control type decks, but this can definitely give you some pretty good breathing room. It might not be as good as Doomscar, but maybe it is. I don't know. I think it's a little more situational. So anything on this
I'm skeptical on this one. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be good or bad. It's such an odd card. We've never seen anything like it. I'm interested to see what people do with it.
Yeah, me too. I like that it exiles them, and then it basically
Yeah.
puts them in exile and then makes them cost 2 more, and then they come in tap too. So
Yeah.
it really slows them down. Yeah, sure, it's not killing them, but I like it. I like that it's a unique board wipe, at least in a way. You know? They've been coming out with some pretty cool ones recently. All right, you got the next one.
All right, next one is Ethereal Escort. It is 2 and a white for a creature spirit at Mythic. It has lifelink and it says whenever Ethereal Escort enters the battlefield or attacks, choose a card in your hand. It perpetually gains lifelink, and it is a 3/3. So it is a 3 mana 3/3 in white, which is good. It has lifelink too, which is also good. And then that perpetual giving creatures in your hand lifelink is pretty good. I don't think this card is great though. It is 3 mana, and I think for 3 mana I'd rather be casting something else like a Skyclave Apparition or something. So I'm curious to see where it slots in.
Yeah, I wish this was just a little bit better. I really was excited when I saw this. I like the art and everything, but just so close. All right, next we got Expedition Supplier. He's another 3-drop white human warrior. Whenever Expedition Supplier or another human enters the battlefield under your control, conjure a card named Utility Knife onto the battlefield. This ability triggers only once each turn, and it's a 2/2. I think this is pretty cool. Utility Knife is not a great, mechanic, but you can get a bunch of them, I guess, or at least one every turn, possibly. I think for a 3-drop, this is not going to fit into Historic. Maybe it's just... I don't know if Alchemy has any good equipment decks, so this might not have a spot, unfortunately.
So I actually used this card today, and it was pretty fun. It's not great, though. Like you said, it's not a great card. There's other cards I'd rather use in 3-slot, but I played like 4 other humans after it, and I got 4 more Utility Knives, so it was pretty cool.
Nice. Yeah, it's a lot of Utility Knives. All right, next.
All right, so then we got Faithful Disciple, 1 and a white for a creature human cleric at uncommon. It has Vigilance. It says when Faithful Disciple dies, draft a card from Faithful Disciple spellbook, and it is a 2/2. So this is a pretty sweet card. The spellbook, I have them pulled up right here.
Yeah.
So Faithful Disciple's spellbook, we have like Anointed Procession, which is pretty good and actually fits in like the white deck. Cathar's Crusade, like Authority of the Consuls, All That Glitters, like a whole bunch of cards, Banishing Light, that are actually meaningful in a deck like this, which is why I really like these drafted cards or these spellbook cards, because they're like mini tutors. I was saying on our Discord earlier, I think they're really interesting. The problem is when you draft it, you don't get a pick from any of them. It just randomly chooses 3 and then you pick one.
Yeah. So it's got the whole random mechanic thing in there.
Yeah, so that makes it a little shittier, but most of it, I haven't used it once where I've gotten a bad card. Like every time I've done it, I've gotten something that has been like useful for my deck. So I do like it.
Yeah, it seems cool. I like the spellbooks too. The only thing that sucks about them is it's just so much to think about and remember, possibly, because you're like, should I cast this? Because wait, what the fuck is in this spellbook again? Like that part's kind of annoying. But I guess hopefully you can click through it while you have it in your hand. Hopefully. I haven't played one of the spellbooks yet, so I'm not sure if you can do that. Next, we have Inquisitor Captain. This one I am pretty excited with. I haven't gotten any yet.
I love it.
I want to craft these. It is a 4-drop, a human cleric with vigilance, and when Inquisitor Captain enters the battlefield, if there are 20 or more creature cards with mana value 3 or less among cards in your graveyard, hand, and library, seek 2 creature cards with mana value 3 or less. Put one of them onto the battlefield and shuffle the other one into your library. Yeah, that is a card soup right there. But basically it's saying you got to have 20 creatures at least with like under 3 mana in your deck. So this is a creature heavy deck that you're playing, which is like a weird condition that you have to get this to go off. It reminds me a lot of like the companions that we had, where you had to have like, you know, this weird thing to be able to use them in your deck.
Yeah.
It reminds me a lot of that. But then, yeah, so it seeks 2 cards, so it randomly grabs 2 creatures out of your deck, 3 or less, and then you get to pick one to put onto the battlefield. I think this is crazy strong. Like, this potentially could be very good. Like, you being able to pick 2 of them, it's kind of like the drafting mechanic, except it's like from your deck. So you can kind of customize this a little bit more. And I mean, you could potentially get down like Ranger Captain of Eos with this or something, and then that's going to grab you another card. So, I mean, I really wouldn't want to play a lot of 4-drops, but this thing seems pretty damn good. Have you played with it yet, Drunken?
Yeah, so I have. I made 4 copies of it.
Nice.
I put it in my Alchemy deck. Mm-hmm. I love it. Yeah. It's incredible. The fact that it lets you pick between 2 cards too, because like the times I've used it, it's like, do you want to Skyclave or do you want this? I'm like, well, what am I playing against right now? Oh, fuck yeah, I'll take Skyclave because then I can just get rid of something, you know?
Yeah,
that's it's just like, it's really good. It's not going to be like that every time because it's random, but like the times I've used it, it's great. And at the top end of your deck, like, because in a, you know, usually in a deck that this card's going to fit into, it's, well, you're not going to put in anything that it's not going to work in, right?
Yeah.
And so, you know, you're getting just like really good like bottom end cards. Like maybe you want a Thalia, right? Because you're playing against a heavy instant or sorcery deck, and it goes in and it grabs cards for you. So yeah, I love it. I can't praise it high enough.
Yeah, I don't know if it's gonna get nerfed or what, because white seems crazy powerful right now. All right, what's the next crazy white card we got, Mike?
So then we got Sigardian Evangel, which is 1 and a white for a creature human cleric at rare, and it says when Sigardian Evangel enters the battlefield, conjure a card named Sigardian Evangel into your hand. Discard that card at the beginning of the next end step. When Sigardian Evangel enters the battlefield, tap target permanent you don't control, and it is a 3/1. So that was a lot of words.
Yeah.
I think this card's really cool because it is a good like post board wipe card.
Oh yeah.
They're like, okay, you know, they wipe your board, all your humans or whatever are gone, all your little weenies are gone. And you're like, okay, I'll play Sigardian Evangel, and then I get another Sigardian Evangel, and I'll play that. And then not only that, you can tap things down, which is like, you know,
powerful.
It's really cool. I think this card is cool. I like it a lot. So like even like before a board wipe, you know, tapping things down just allows you to swing in for damage. So it's a good card.
Absolutely. Yeah, this one is definitely going to see play for a while, I think. Next, we got Slayer Bounty. It is a 1 white for a legendary artifact clue. And when Slayer's Bounty enters the battlefield, look at the creature cards in the target opponent's hand. When you sacrifice Slayer's Bounty or another clue, draft a card from Slayer's Bounty's spellbook. And you can pay 2 to sacrifice it and draw a card. So this is pretty awesome. You get to look at your opponent's hand. You don't get to do anything with it, but I mean, just that information really makes such a big difference, especially in white that doesn't like get to do that a lot. I think this is pretty huge, you know, knowing if you're going to walk into a board wipe or not. And then whenever you sacrifice it, you get to draft something from the spell book and you draw a card. So sacrificing it for 2 basically draws you 2 cards with this thing too. So I think this is pretty good. I think it can earn a spot in like maybe like affinity artifact decks in Historic. I'm not sure. It's legendary, so that's one of the downsides to it. But I haven't looked into the spell book of it yet, but I imagine there's some pretty good stuff in there. Since it's a slaying thing, I imagine there's a bunch of kill spells or something. So
I'll read. It has Seal Away. I'll just read a couple.
Okay.
It has Bounty Agent, which that you can sacrifice that to destroy stuff. It has some Glass Casket. I mean, it has really good cards in it.
Nice. I like it. I think it's cool. All right. What do we got next?
All right. Suntail Squadron. It is 2 white for an instant. It says conjure a card named Suntail Hawk into your hand. If you have fewer than 7 cards in hand, repeat this process. So Suntail Hawk is just a 1/1 flyer. This card sucks.
Maybe. I kind of think that this might be good in a flyer deck where you have like a lot of really low cost, like a budget type flyer deck. And maybe your top end to restock your hand in case you get board wiped or something. The Hawks are just 1/1s. They're just it's a 1-drop for flying 1/1s. Yeah, it's not my favorite. I like that it's an instant. I guess that helps a little bit, but yeah, getting 7. It'd be better if it immediately put them onto the battlefield. That would make it crazy.
So, favorite card from white?
Oh, man. It's got to be the Inquisitor Captain. It's so good. I really like it. I like the randomness of it. It just seems like that one's probably going to see the most play, I think, out of these. What about you?
I like Slayer's Bounty the most. I think that's the most DrunkenDork card here for sure.
Yeah.
And it fits into my play style. So I'm going to try and brew with this thing. I like it a lot though. I like the fact that you get something from a spellbook and you draw a card from a clue, So as we get more clue cards as sets go in, it's going to get even better. I like the potential.
Yeah. Pretty sweet. All right, well, that was white. That was, generally my favorite color. And I think white's definitely the strongest, color in Alchemy right now. At least from what I've played against, I don't think I beat one white deck. I think they all kicked my ass with Omnath. And then next we got blue. Blue, we got Absorb Energy. We talked about this one last week. It's a counter spell, and whatever you counter, you can make the cards in your hand perpetually cost 1 less. I haven't seen it yet, so the jury's still out on this one for Alchemy. I think maybe it fits into like some control deck in Alchemy, maybe. But yeah, like you were saying, it's probably sideboard for Historic. And then what do we got next?
And then we got Clone Crafter, 1 and a blue for a creature, human, wizard, a rare. And it says when Clone Crafter enters the battlefield, conjure a duplicate of a random creature card from your opponent's library into your hand. It perpetually gains. You may spend mana as though it were mana of any color to cast a spell. And it is a 1/2. This card's interesting. I don't think it's great, though.
Some jank.
Yeah.
Some jank. All right, we got Discover the Formula, which is a 6-drop, which is an instant for seek 3 non-land cards. Then non-land cards in your hand perpetually gain the spell cost 1 less to cast. This is some jank. This has got to be in some weird spell slinger deck or something. I don't see this getting played. All right, next.
Yeah. Then we got Geist Channeler, 1 and a blue for a creature, human, wizard. We already read this card.
Yep.
When Geist Channeler enters the battlefield, choose an instant or sorcery card in your hand with mana value 3 or greater. It perpetually gains. This spell costs 2 less to cast, and it is 1/3. Probably one of the best cards here.
Them fists, dude. Them fists. I haven't seen anyone play this yet, which I was surprised because it seems like a bonkers card. So maybe people just don't have the cards to play it or figured out what deck it really fits in yet. Next, we got Geist of Regret, which is a 5-drop spirit at Mythic, and it's flying. When Geist of Regret enters the battlefield, put a random instant card from your library into your graveyard. Then put a random sorcery card from your library into your graveyard. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery card from your graveyard, copy that spell. You may choose a new target for this copy. Jank. Yeah, I don't. For 5, this is it's way too slow. I don't know why this is a mythic. Yeah, this is. I don't know what this fits in. This seems like some like a commander card or something. I don't know. Yeah. All right.
Next is Kindred Denial. It is 2 blue for an instant, and it says counter target spell. seek a card with the same mana value as that spell. I like this a lot. It is a 4 mana counter. I know that's expensive, but I think the upside of it is really, really high. Like, I like this a lot more than Absorb Energy, for like an example, just because like you're basically 2 for wanting them, right? You're countering their spell and then potentially getting something out of your deck into your hand, you know, and usually decks that are going to run something like this have a wide variety of converted mana costs or mana value, whatever the fuck it's said now, you know, with things like Sharknado and then Teferi and stuff like that. So I actually think we're going to see this in Historic.
Maybe. I don't know. It's hard to say because there is a downside to this, and that's, well, one is that it's 4 mana, and the other is that the thing that you counter, you might not, right? You might not have something in your deck that, so you could end up getting, just a 4 mana counter that doesn't get you anything. So there is potential downside to it, but yeah, there's an upside too. So I think both of them, which I like. I like cards that are mechanically unique. They're just not an all-around fucking awesome card. I think that's one of the good things about Magic. So I like it. All right, Obsessive Collector, and it is a 4-drop spirit creature. It's a 4/3 with flying and ward 2. So stats aren't bad. Whenever Obsessive Collector deals combat damage to a player, seek a card with mana value equal to the number of cards in your hand. That is a weird, stipulation for him to get that card draw. I think he should just draw you a card considering it is a 4-drop. But he does have Ward 2, which is nice. I don't know. I still don't think this is really playable in like a Spirits deck. Maybe I'm wrong. Drunken, do you think this is, guys, play? You also play Spirits?
I do like it. I like that it's a 4/3 flyer for 4. That's actually really good.
Yeah.
And the fact that it has upside of ward and you get a card based on how, maybe depending on how many cards you have in hand. I think we might see like 1 or 2 in like a spirit deck or something, or some other kind of random deck.
Yeah, it's definitely the top end. I mean, I just wish it just drew you that card. It didn't have that weird, like how many cards you have in your hand. What? All right. And then next.
And then we have Oglore, Devoted Assistant, and it is 1 and a blue. Excuse me as I have to lean in for this because the text is so small. Legendary creature Homunculus at Mythic, and it says at the beginning of your upkeep, look at the top 2 cards of your library, then put one of them into your graveyard. Whenever a creature card is put into your graveyard from your library or hand, it perpetually gains. When this card leaves your graveyard, create a tap 2/2 black zombie creature token, and it is a 1/1. I think this card's really cool. Because it says whenever a card leaves your graveyard. So if your opponent is exiling cards out of your graveyard, or whenever a creature leaves your graveyard, you're getting 2/2s. So it punishes people for punishing your graveyard, Yeah. I like this in some kind of weird deck that utilizes the graveyard.
I think this is crazy in like Is It Phoenix, because it helps their top deck manipulation. It helps them throw stuff in the bin. It helps them get those Phoenixes in there. And then when the Phoenixes leave, they get 2/2 zombies as well. So I think this card, like 1 or 2 of these slots perfectly into a Phoenix deck. It seems crazy powerful in there. And then next we got Rimewall Protector, which is a 3-drop giant wizard with ward 1, and it is a 3/4. When Rimewall Protector enters the battlefield, each other giant or wizard you control and each giant or wizard you control in your hand perpetually gains ward 1. No. I don't know. What, giant wizard tribal? No. Okay. All right, what do we got next?
Then we got Sinister Reflections. It is blue for an instant. It says conjure a duplicate of each of up to 2 target non-token creatures you control into your hand. This just seems bad.
Yeah, I agree. All right, we got Tireless Agent, which is a 3...
Angler.
Tireless Angler. It is a 3-drop human rogue at 1/4. Whenever an island enters the battlefield under your control, draft a card from Tireless Angler's spellbook. And I have not looked at this, but I imagine it's not super great.
Tireless Angler, I was looking at all of them. They all have like at least 1 or 2 like okay cards. Tireless Angler has like some of the worst ones because he's an angler. You know, he's a fisherman, so they're all like fish and shit. So you know, you can get a ruin crab maybe,
Woo.
and just like really ruin someone's day. You see what I did? See, I did it again.
Oh man! All right, next.
All right, and then the last one we have unexpected conversion. It is 2 and a blue for a sorcery at rare. It says draw 2 cards. Then you may exile an instant or sorcery card from your hand. If you do, search your hand and library for any number of cards with the same name. Exile them, then shuffle. Seek an instant or sorcery card for each card exiled from your hand this way. Jesus Christ, this card is so confusing to me.
Dude?
Yeah.
I don't know.
So this card doesn't seem great. Like it does work in a few decks, but it's just like very dependent on instant or sorcery. So I think we're yet to see. I don't think this is great though.
Yeah. Okay. So what do you think about blue so far?
I think blue's a bunch of hot garbage. But my favorite card here is probably either Oglor or the Geist Channeler. I think I'll just pick Geist Channeler.
Yeah, it's Oglor. I cracked one today. I really like it. It might make me make a Phoenix deck. I think it's really cool.
Nice.
Yeah. All right.
You awful person.
I know. I've never made one before, but I like that card, so maybe I'll do one. And next, we got black. Drunken's favorite. So we got Assemble from Parts, which is a 1-drop, and man, the art is there's a bunch of tentacles coming out of this dude. It's an instant. Yeah, you like that? Target creature card in your graveyard perpetually gains. Pay 4, exile this card from your graveyard, shuffle it into your library, create a token that's a copy of it, except it's a 4/4 black zombie in addition to its other types. Activate this only as a sorcery. Man, this card's all over the fucking place for what it's doing. So you're targeting something in your graveyard, giving it the ability to pay 4 to cast it to make it a 4/4, and then it goes back into your library, and you can only do it as a sorcery. There's a lot of hoops to jump through to reanimate something as a token.
It's so good.
Yeah.
I think this card is awesome. I think it's going to be really cool in Alchemy once they have some cooler stuff out.
Yeah.
Did I cut you off?
No, that's fine. You seem excited about this one, so go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like any other recursion card that we have in Historic right now. Sure, you have to pay the extra mana, but
yeah,
anything that's recursive, like I can't think of the spell that you cast, but like the creature, the priest.
Yeah,
like it's all at sorcery speed. The fact that you're casting a spell, you can do this at the end of their turn, and then on your turn you can recur the token or whatever. So like we'll use the Praetor, right? You can recur what's that Praetor? The one that gives everything -2/-2?
Elish Norn.
Yeah, you can make an Elish Norn on your turn, right? Like, and that the ability can't be countered unless they have a counter ability spell. So they'd have to counter this. And like, that's what I like about it is you can play this at the end of your opponent's turn when they're like maybe out of mana. And then on your turn, you can turn your fucking Elish Norn into a 4/4 token, which is amazing.
Yeah, you know what the other thing is it exiles a card from your graveyard. So just like Mystic's Mastery, this gets around things like Grafdigger's Cage and stuff that is like, it can't leave, right? Because that stops things from you casting it from your graveyard, where you're not doing that here because you're exiling it and then making a token of it. So Grafdigger's Cage does not affect this card, actually. So that's an upside to it, I guess, too. Cool. All right, what's the next one we got?
Then we got Break Expectations. It is 1 black mana for a sorcery. At uncommon, it says target player reveals all cards with mana value 2 or greater in their hand. You choose a card from among those cards, exile that card. If a card was exiled this way, that player drafts a card from a Break Expeditions or Expectations spellbook and reveals it. So I don't think this card's that great.
Yeah, whatever. All right, we got City Stalker Connoisseur, which is a 4-drop vampire death touch 3/3. When City Stalker Connoisseur enters the battlefield, target opponent discards a card with the greatest mana value among cards in their hand. Create a blood token. I really wish this was a 3-drop. I think its effect is cool. It makes them discard something and you get a blood token, and it has death touch, but 4 is kind of steep for this. I think there's a lot better 4-drop vampires than this. So yeah. All right, what do you got?
And then we got Cursebound Witch, which is 1 black mana for a creature, human, warlock at uncommon. And it says when Cursebound Witch dies, draft a card from Cursebound Witch's spellbook, and it is a 1/2. And yeah, the cards are okay. I think this card is, I don't know. We'll see. I don't think it's great.
All right, next is a pretty sweet one. We got Gutmore, Packbound Servant, which is a 3-drop legendary creature demon at Mythic Rare. It's got flying and death touch, and whenever Gutmore, Packbound Servant enters the battlefield, each player discards a non-land card. When a player discards a card during your turn, they choose another player. That player conjures a duplicate of that card into their hand and perpetually gains. You may spend mana of any color to cast this spell. So there, once again, a lot of stuff going on in this card. Basically, it comes into play, and then everyone's got to discard a card, and then if they do, right, if it's a non-land card, the other person gets a conjured copy of that card into their hand to play. So if you only have lands or you have no cards in your hand, this guy's awesome to drop because you're going to get something out of your opponent's hand, and they're not going to get anything out of you. So I don't know. I think it's really cool, and I like the weird condition of it. It seems pretty strong in like discard decks. All right.
Yeah, what the interesting thing about this card and a few other cards in this set, and someone pointed it out in our Discord that is that it says like opponents and stuff, where like really points at the fact that maybe Arena's gonna add like a multiplayer version into Arena, which would be amazing.
That's it. Well, at least it shows that it's somewhere on their thought process of maybe in 10 years we'll have multiplayer.
Yeah, I mean, because these cards are nowhere else, right? And they don't work in paper, so
That's true.
They're never going to print them in paper. So it absolutely is thinking about a possibility of having that,
I love it. I did not notice that. So that's some great insight right there. All right, what do we got next?
So Predatory Sludge is 2 and a black for a creature ooze at rare. It has menace, and it says as Predatory Sludge enters the battlefield, choose a permanent you don't control. When the chosen permanent is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, conjure a card named Predatory Sludge into your hand, and it is a 3/3. This card seems okay.
Yeah. Not excited. Next, Patient Zero. We talked about this one last week. Super fucking sweet. Zombie with lifelink. It's a 2/2, and whenever basically any damage does not phase off at the end of your turn. So like perpetual damage, your opponent's creatures will maintain it, almost like -1 counters. I love this card. I think it's great for zombies. Yeah. All right, what do we got next?
Then we got Puppet Razor. It is 3 and a black for a creature zombie wizard. At the beginning of your end step, exile up to 1 target creature card from your graveyard. If you do, seek a creature card with mana value equal to the mana value of the card +1. That card perpetually gains menace, and this is a 3/3. I like this a lot. This is exactly what I think we needed in zombies, is something that benefits from your graveyard, because we don't really have that yet. And I think this is a perfect addition to that.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet. 4 is, just 4 is a lot, but maybe it'll be good in, I think Alchemy, maybe not historic, just because of the slowness of it, but maybe.
That's fair.
Yeah. All right, we got Seguin Brushstroke, which is a 3-drop enchantment at rare, and when Seguin Brushstroke enters the battlefield, create a blood token and conjure a card named Blood Artist into your graveyard.
Onto the battlefield.
Onto the battlefield. Whenever you sacrifice a blood token, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. I think this is awesome that they're able to get Blood Artist onto the battlefield with, in Alchemy. Blood Artist is a very strong card. I mean, you have to pay 3 to do this, but you're going to have an enchantment. You're going to have Blood Artist. And then if you're playing this, these blood token strategies that's going on, I don't think there's a lot of good blood token cards, unfortunately, because it seems like a really cool mechanic. I just don't think they got the supporting cards to really make it a strong mechanic like food did. But it does add quite a bit of like loyalty, or not loyalty. What is it? Man, what is the word that I'm thinking of? Like devotion to black or whatever. So
okay, yeah.
So this could be good in a deck that's trying to build up a lot of black stuff, because you're getting basically 3 black symbols with this, as well as a blood artist and a couple ways to ping people. So I'm thinking Gary with this. This would fit into a Gary deck maybe. That's where I see it, at least. All right, back to you.
Next one's going to be Sap Vitality. It is black for an instant at rare, and it says Sap Vitality deals 3 damage to target creature planeswalker. Choose a creature card in your hand. It perpetually gets +3/+0. This card is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
It's gonna go really well in mono black aggro. Those are all low to the ground creatures that can do with a +3/+0.
Oh yeah.
Especially they're recurable generally. So like, you attack in, they block, you kill their creature, and then you just cast it again for 1 mana, right? Like it's incredible how good this card is. Plus it's removal. I can't speak higher of this card. It's good.
Yeah, I think it's great. I mean, Phyrexian Obliterator or something like that. It's great. Next, we got Veteran Ghoul Caller, which is a human rogue. And he is a 2-drop with a 2/1 for his stats. And whenever a card in your graveyard is put into your hand, conjure a duplicate of that card into your hand. Okay, so whenever you pull something back into your hand, you get 2 of them. Seems good if you're, doing some weird shuffle thing from your graveyard back into your hand. I don't know. I feel like this fits in a very specific mid-range type deck that we don't have right now. That would be good enough to do this. I like it. I think it's a cool card, but doesn't have a place, I don't think, right now. All right, and that was it for black. Drunken.
What's your favorite card here? Sorry.
I was going to ask you. No, I was going to ask you what yours was.
Oh, Sap Vitality. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I really like that one. That and Patient Zero. I think those are the 2 that I like definitely the most out of this. All right. Well, cool. That was white, blue, and black, and then we got red and green and everything else coming up in main phase 2. But before that, we're gonna move into our combat phase.
Dorkish combat.
And combat did not switch to that scene for some reason. Combat is our horseshit card game hosted by DrunkenDork. So take it away.
What is up, everyone? I'm DrunkenDork, the host of this wacky, awful card game. And this is a game where I name 5 magic cards, and it switches up every week. This week we're gonna do it like I'm gonna name 5 cards. 4 of them are from our beloved historic format. 1 of them isn't, and it's up to this drunken idiot to figure out which one of these cards is not from our format. Are you ready? There's a theme here. The theme is they're black garbage cards. All right.
All right.
So
sweet. Let's do it, man. I'm ready.
All right. So the first one's going to be Dutiful Return. It is 3 and a black for sorcery. It says return up to 2 target creature cards from your graveyard to your hand.
Okay.
The next one is Provicon Scoundrel. It is 1 and a black for a creature human rogue. Has a whole bunch of text under it that means nothing, and it is a 2/1.
Okay.
Then we have Lethal Sting for 2 and a black. It is a sorcery. It says, as an additional cost to cast Lethal Sting, put a -1/-1 counter on a creature you control. Destroy target creature. Then we have Liliana's Defeat. It's a sorcery and says destroy target black creature or black planeswalker. If that permanent was a Liliana planeswalker, her controller loses 3 life. And that is, I don't know if I said it was a 1 black mana spell.
Yeah.
And then we finally have Face Vaulter for 1 black mana. It's a creature goblin warrior, and it has a black mana, sacrifice a goblin. Face Vaulter gets +2/+2 until end of turn, and it is a 1/1. Those are the 5 cards. What do you think, Hoshi?
Oh man, it's tough. Yeah, they're all really bad. You're right. Okay, so here's what I'm going with. I think Lethal Sting is, it's part of. I want to keep saying Kaladesh, but whatever that the desert set is. So that one's probably in there. Liliana's Defeat. I think I've seen Face Vaulter. I don't know. The art looks kind of familiar. And then the two that I don't know about is going to be the Corvikian Scoundrel or whatever the hell his name is, and the Dutiful Return, which is just terrible. Man, both of them are really bad. I think I'm gonna go with the Scoundrel though, because like his art looks like kind of memorable. So maybe like I would have scrolled past him and been like, oh, okay, I don't know. I guess that's my fucked up reasoning for this. So yeah, I'll go with that one. With the Scoundrel.
Right, Hoshi chose Scoundrel. Mm-hmm. We got Blood Nines here in the chat. Chose
nice.
Lethal Sting. And Jacavio in the chat chose Face Vaulter.
Face Vaulter, okay.
Well, you're all fucking wrong today, boys.
Because kidding me?
You were on the right path, Hoshi. No. It was Dutiful Return. Oh. And I think Dutiful Return is from like is from the old like Innistrad set or something like that is where I grabbed it from.
No.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Sorry, everyone. Next time, I get a win. Finally.
So you get nothing. You lose. Good day, sir.
Oh, all of us. No. How is that in the set? The Scoundrel. It's so bad.
It's from So I don't know what set it's in, but it's from Ice Age.
Okay.
I think it's in. I think it's in like one of the weird arena sets. You know what I mean? Like just the starter cards or something.
Yeah, it's such garbage. Well,
yeah, it's
damn. Yeah. Fuck, man, I'm on a losing streak now. This is terrible. I really hate this a lot. I don't like you winning, and I more don't like me losing. This is awful. Well, I hope some of you guys got it out there. No one in chat. I didn't. So this is just a straight win for you. That's rare. So
that is rare.
Good job. Absolutely. Good job picking some garbage, and at least it wasn't from best of 3 weird lists this week. So
yeah,
I like these ones more.
It wasn't confusing.
Yeah, I like these ones a lot more. So all right. Well, with that, let's go to main phase 2.
Main phase 2.
All right, and main phase 2 is going to be the last cards that we're going to go over. So the next set is going to be red. So Drunken, take it away.
Okay. First, we got Armed Scavenger. It is 1 in a red for a creature, human, warrior. It says at the beginning of your upkeep, draft a card from Armed Scavenger's spellbook, then exile it. Until end of turn, you may play that card, and it is a 2/2. This card's really good. Mm-hmm. Anything with red where you're getting value, I think is good, and it's something it needs because you're trying to swing in for face and like there's spells that like deal damage in that. In that spell book. So I like it. I like it a lot. What do you think? You have Colossal Hammer in there.
Yeah. They're all real cheap. All the spells in there. It's all like one drop equipment. So seems pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right. We got Brittle Blast, which is a 3-drop instant at uncommon creature and planeswalkers your opponents control perpetually gain. If this permanent would die, exile it instead. Brittle Blast deals 5 damage to target creature or planeswalker. So creatures and planeswalkers your opponents control. So I wonder if this is a it doesn't say that it's a emblem. So I think it just means ones that are on the battlefield at this time, which that sucks. I was hoping when I read this it was like a permanent, like a emblem that they got, which would have been insane if that was it. So without that, I don't think this is very good.
Yeah, I think it's okay. I think it's a good sideboard card for like Big Red or something.
Sure, yeah. All right, next.
Then we got Blood Rage Alpha. For 3 in a red, it is a creature wolf. And it says when Blood Rage Alpha enters the battlefield, choose 1. Another target wolf or werewolf you control fights target creature you don't control. Or when you cast your next wolf or werewolf spell, it gains when this creature enters the battlefield, it fights up to one target creature you don't control. Yeah, I think this card's pretty cool. It's a 4-mana 4/3 that has a fight mechanic. I like it. I don't think it's going to be great though in Historic.
No, I think in Alchemy this is pretty sweet though, because there's some pretty good wolves in that set. All right, sweet. We got Conductive Current, which is 3 red for a sorcery at rare. Conductive Current deals 3 damage to each creature. Choose an instant or sorcery card in your hand. It perpetually gains if this spell would deal non-combat damage to a permanent or player. It deals that much +2. I mean, I think this is great because it's a 3-mana like board wipe basically, and then you are adding an extra 2 damage to some type of like damage spell in your hand. It seems like it seems pretty good to me. I mean, we have a lot of board wipey red damage spells out there, so I think being able to get any value out of that on top of it makes it playable for sure.
So if you cast Conductive Current, you're potentially the next Conductive Current you cast would deal 5 damage to everything.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's insane.
If you had it in your hand, just to like put it in like that, it's good in like big red.
Yeah, absolutely.
So next one's going to be Electrostatic Blast. It is 1 in a red for an instant. An Electrostatic Blast deals 2 damage to any target. When you cast your next instant or sorcery spell, exile the top 3 cards of your library. You may play one of those cards until end of turn. This card seems good. 2 mana deal 2 allows you to draw, because it doesn't say you have to cast it this turn or whatever. It just says when you cast your next instant or sorcery. So I think this card is good.
Yeah, it's the same thing with the pup that we'll talk about. Like it's just the next time you cast it, which is a pretty cool thing that they can do with this set, the whole perpetual thing. Yeah, I really like a lot of the aspects of it. All right, next we got Fearsome Whelp, which is a 2-drop dragon at uncommon. It's which is awesome to have a 2-drop dragon. All right, so it's got it's a flying 1/1 though. So at the beginning of your end step, each dragon card in your hand perpetually gains. This spell costs 1 less to cast, which, if this thing survives, could be pretty great, because I mean dragons are just there. It's a hard type of tribal to do. You need things that are going to reduce the cost of those dragons, or you're going to die before they get on the battlefield. But once they get down, they are scary creatures to behold, and being able to every turn make them cost perpetually 1 less, it could be pretty significant having a 2-drop like this. I like it. I like anything that can help like a weird tribal like dragon be better. So
cool.
All right,
next one is Frenzied Geist Blaster. Is 1 in red for creature human wizard at rare, and says it has prowess, which we all know is really good in Historic. When Frenzied Geist Blaster enters the battlefield, if there are 20 or more instant and or sorcery cards among cards in your graveyard, hand, and library, you may discard a card. If you do, seek an instant or sorcery card, and it is a 2/2. This seems pretty good. I don't know if it's going to be great, but it definitely seems good.
The mana cost on it like fits pretty well for what it's trying to do. So we'll see. Maybe the Phoenix or something. That's a very tight deck, I guess, now with cards. Next we got Raldia Wanted Cutthroat. Rahilda Wanted Cutthroat. Sorry, throat's giving out now. It's a 2-drop legendary creature, human werewolf at 2/2 with first strike. And Rahilda Wanted Cutthroat deals combat damage to a player. Exile a non-land card from their library at random. During any turn you attacked with a wolf or werewolf, you may cast that card, and you may spend mana as though it were mana of any color to cast a spell. Daybound. The nighttime bound or nightbound side of it is basically the exact same thing, except
the Nighty Night Bound.
Yeah, the Nighty Night Bound. Yeah, except for now she is a werewolf and she has double strike. So
Not bad.
Yeah, I think this is great. It reminds me a lot of the Eldraine card, the Archer,
The rogue.
Yeah. I forget what his name is, but he was like the Robin Hood, basically. So it reminds me exactly like that. Except I think this is better because it fits really well into werewolf decks, where I mean everything in the deck is going to be a wolf or a werewolf, so you can cast that thing like probably regardless later on. So I think wolves and werewolves are getting a lot of like crazy card draw. I'm excited to actually build a wolf or werewolf deck. Historic. I got totally smashed by one today, and they were not playing this. So I would love to have this in my deck. I like it.
So I play with that rogue all the time. I think that card is really good in Historic.
It is.
Because everything's really low to the ground in or not everything, but a lot of things. So you're able to cast things often.
Yeah.
And this seems cool because you will never hit a land, so it'll always be a castable card.
Yeah. That is true.
But the bad thing is it doesn't have haste, whereas the other one does. So you immediately can start exiling things and casting things with the other one, so it's a little better in the late game than this. Yeah. So I'm very interested. I do think this card is good, though.
I think the werewolves have a lot better synergy than the
rogue?
than the red rogues do. Not rogues. Rogues have good synergy, just red rogues don't. So I think this one fits kind of better into the werewolf deck. Maybe, that's my opinion. So we'll see, though. I like it. All right, what do we got next?
All right, the next one's going to be, our first one, Tibalt, Wicked Tormentor. It is 3 red for a legendary planeswalker Tibalt at Mythic, of course. It says, add red, draft a card from Tibalt, Wicked Tormentor spellbook, then exile it. Until end of turn, you may cast that card. I haven't looked at these. I'm sure they're okay.
It's all demons. Because I pulled 2 of him today, so I looked through it. Or devils. They're all devils. So there's like that devil that Apollo plays where it like pings you, when everybody attacks. So
okay.
Bunch of devils in there. Yeah.
Cool. All right, then its other plus one is Tibalt, Wicked Tormentor deals 3 damage to target creature or planeswalker unless its controller has Tibalt deal 3 damage to them. If they do, you may discard a card. If you do, draw a card. That's really good. So like you can go and kill their thing and they're like, oh no, I really want that. And they're like, I'll just take 3 to the face and allow you to draw a card. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
That still seems good.
It does. I think Tibalt Wiggle Tormentor sounds way more scary.
Yeah. Oh, I like it a lot. Yeah, it's terrifying. And then finally, we have -X. Create X11 Red Devil creature tokens with when this creature dies, it deals 1 damage to any target. And I don't know if I said it. Tibalt starts out at 3 loyalty, which is probably the weakest part about this card. A 5 mana 3 loyalty card is bad.
That part I hate. What do you think though?
I think it's okay.
Yeah, me too. I think like it could maybe have a spot in Big Red. I don't know. It's all over the place with what it's doing though. Oh well. All right, next we got Toral's Disciple, which we talked about this one last week. It is a 3-drop human warrior with haste. It's a 3/3, and whenever you attack, it puts 4 lightning bolts into your card, into your library, which is just fucking ridiculous. I love it. I haven't seen this card yet. It seems very powerful, so I'm sure we're gonna be seeing this for a while. For you burn players, there you go. You got it. This is what you've been waiting for. All right, what do we got next?
And then we got Town Razor Tyrant. It is 2 red for a creature dragon at rare, and it has flying. And says when Town Razor Tyrant enters the battlefield, target land you control loses all. Target land you don't control loses all abilities except mana abilities and gains at the beginning of your upkeep. This permanent deals 2 damage to you unless you sacrifice it, and it is a 4/4. So I think this card's pretty cool. I think it might fit in a Gruul Monsters deck, maybe as a 2-of, but I don't think it's great.
I think it maybe like land destruction, maybe. I don't know. It's got a lot of stuff going on for it. The mana cost is pretty good. I mean, a 4/4 flyer for 4 isn't too bad for a dragon, and it's got some cool stuff going on with it. I like it.
If it had haste, I'd love it, but it doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, it would be insane if it had haste. Sweet. All right, well, that was red. What's your favorite red card out of here, Drunken?
I'm gonna probably pick Conductive Current. I like that one.
Okay, nice. I like Rahilda, the wanted cutthroat. I think that,
Figured.
yeah, I like that one.
Yeah, it's a great card.
Yeah. All right, sweet. Well then, let's move on to our next set, which is going to be green. And green, we're going to start off with Antique Collector, which is a 2-drop human rogue at rare, and it's a 2/2. Antique Collector can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less. When Antique Collector enters the battlefield, creatures you control perpetually gain. When this creature dies, you may shuffle it into its owner's library. If it's in your graveyard, if you do, investigate. Wow. So once again, word soup. I think it's very interesting, being able to move something back into your library and then you get value out of that. Man, it can't be blocked by 2/2. I don't know what to think of this card. It seems okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah. All right. That's it. That's all I got for it. All right. Next.
Next is Garruk, Wrath of the Wilds. It is 2 green for a legendary planeswalker Garruk at Mythic, of course, and it says choose a creature card in your hand. It perpetually gets +1/+1 and perpetually gains. This spell costs 1 less to cast. That's pretty sweet. Mm-hmm. The -1 is draft a card from Garruk, Wrath of the Wilds spellbook and put it into your onto the battlefield. That seems pretty good. I haven't looked at the cards yet, but that's pretty good.
Me either. Here we go. It's got some pretty, it's beasts. So it looks like none of them are super strong. Oh, Garruk's Uprising is in there too. So enchantment and then Hornbeetle. Yeah, none of them are like blowing my socks off, but I mean, hey, you're putting it directly into the battlefield, I guess. So
yeah.
And
then finally, -5 until end of turn. Creatures you control get +3/+3 and gain trample. I think this card is just mediocre.
Do you? I think it's got a lot of good things that a planeswalker wants to do. It's less than the Tibalt one, and it's also 3/3. But you can put it. It can protect itself by putting a creature in, and then it's got that the +1. The other +1's pretty great. I think its -5 is not it's not impressive, but the +1's pretty awesome. Perpetually getting 1/1 and costing less. I mean, with green, I like it. I think it's it's a decent Garruk. All right. Well then, next we got Geistpack Alpha, which is a 4-drop wolf, and it is at rare. It's a 5/4 with trample, and when Geistpack Alpha dies, seek a permanent card with mana value equal to the number of lands you control. Wow, I haven't seen this one yet. This seems pretty sweet. Another wolf, man. Yeah. They are packing in a lot of like crazy wolves, and it dies, it gets you a card. That's always nice to have. With the amount of lands you control, though, I don't know. Like, if you got 4 already, like how many, like in a wolf deck, how many more like big cards are you gonna have in that deck? I could see you putting down too many lands and whiffing with this. So I don't know. Yeah, I do like it though. It seems strong.
Cool. Yeah, I think it seems okay. Next is going to be Grizzled Huntmaster. It is 1 green for a creature human warrior at rare. It says when Grizzled Huntmaster enters the battlefield, you may exile a creature card from your hand. If you do, search your hand and library for any number of cards with the same name. Exile them, then shuffle. Choose a creature card you own from outside the game. Conjure a duplicate of that card into your hand for each card exiled this way, or exiled from your hand this way. Yeah. So this is a ridiculous card. So it basically, like, it's kind of cool because when it enters, you exile a card from your hand, and then you'll get, if you have 4 copies in your deck, or 3 other copies in your deck, then you'll get 4 of them in your hand. And that's basically what it's doing.
It's such a confusing fucking way of saying that, though. I remember the first time I read this card, I had to read it like twice to be like, wait, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah.
So much.
But that's a good ability, for green too, just adding more more creatures, right?
Yeah.
Which is what you want to do with something. It's a 3-drop. I could definitely see this getting played. I don't think it's great, but I do think it's good.
I mean, what are you kidding me? Like, if you have a card in your hand, right? That's what it's saying. If you do exile creature card in your hand, so you can have a card in your hand, and if you have 4 of them in your deck, and you haven't played any of them yet, you're basically drawing 3 cards at that point.
Yeah.
For playing him.
Yeah.
That's super good. Playing
Yeah, it's good.
I think this is really powerful, and he's a 4/3 for 3. This card's gonna see play for sure.
Oh yeah, I definitely think it's gonna see play.
Oh man, yeah, I really like this one. All right, well next we got Hinterland Chef, and it is a 3-drop human scout at rare. 3/3. When Hinterland Chef enters the battlefield, draft a card from Hinterland Chef's spellbook. It perpetually becomes a food artifact in addition to its other types, and perpetually gains 2. Tap, sacrifice this creature, you gain 3 life. Holy crap. Once again, man, they are going hard on the word soup on these things. So all over the place. Another food mechanic. I thought we were done with food. I guess not. I'm not super impressed by this one. I don't think it's going to fit in the food decks. I think they have stronger stuff than this.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay, sweet. Next.
Next one is Hollow Henge Wrangler. It is 3 green for a creature elemental. So we got elemental here at rare, and says when Hollow Henge Wrangler enters the battlefield, seek a land card, discard, and then it says discard a land card, conjure a card named Hollow Henge Beast into your hand. You may also activate this ability while Hollow Henge Wrangler is in your graveyard, and it is a 6/6. So this is a really interesting card. So you can do this discard a land at any time, which when if a land matter deck pops up, I think this is something you're going to see in it. I do like it. It's just very interesting. I don't know if we'll see it though.
I don't know what the Hollow Henge Beast is. Do you? Is that one of the new ones that we
I
got?
don't know. I don't know what it is.
I'm not seeing it on the on this website either. So, well, if that's a good card, that would make a huge difference in possibly playing this. And then next we got Ishkana Broodmaster, which is a 4-drop spider we talked about last week. Really like this as a commander card. It's a mythic 3/5. It's got reach. It's a spider lord that gives all your other spiders +1/+2. And you could pay 2 a hybrid black green mana to exile 2 cards from your graveyard and draft a bunch of goddamn spiders out of her spell book. And most of them are pretty cool. So we all like this. It's great. Not commander. What was brawl. There we go.
There we go.
All right. What do we got next?
Real quick, Hollow Henge Beast is a 5 mana 5/5. So
okay.
that's something.
Yes.
All right, next one is Lupin Harbingers. It is 3 and a green for a creature wolf at rare, and it says trample haste, which is good. Lupin Harbingers. Lupin Harbingers enters the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters on it, where X is a number of turns you've begun since it was foretold, and it has foretell 4 green, and it is a 4/4. So I don't think that second ability is like the foretell ability is good, but a 4 mana 4/4 with trample and haste is basically like a texting beast, right? It's just not as good. So I don't think this card is good.
Yeah, I mean, it seems cool, but like, man, you gotta when you foretell it, it costs 6 after that. That part really like kicked in the ball. Maybe if it costs the same amount and you were like, I don't know, I'll hold on to it or something. Maybe I'll wait a couple turns and then like finish them off. With a big trample haster like out of nowhere when I got the opportunity. That would be really cool. But it costing 6 to do that just really kicked it in the balls. It was a cool card though. All right, we got Ravenous Pursuit, which is a 2-drop sorcery. Target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to target creature you don't control. Choose a creature card in your hand. It perpetually gets +X, where X is the amount of excess damage dealt this way. So this is a fight card where any excess damage left over from killing the creature pluses +X a creature in your hand. I think this is okay. I don't like that it's a sorcery. That part sucks. But I mean, there are a lot of big creature decks out there that like fight mechanics, and some of them have damage roll over. This one gives a creature in your hand a buff, which I don't know if you're gonna have a creature that has a lot of extra damage on it, plusing something else up. I don't know. I'm not super impressed by this one. All right. What do we got next?
All right, next one is Settle the Wilds. It is 1 green for a sorcery at uncommon. It says seek a basic land card, put it into the battlefield tapped, then seek a permanent card with mana value equal to the number of lands you control. This card seems good. Like, I definitely think we'll see play. I don't think it's great, though. I think there are other better, like, Mana Ramp cards. But I'm interested to see, like, this could potentially be a big swing for something.
I think this could be like some type of combo piece, right? It seems like you could set this up to grab some specific card that you need out of your deck if you have this to be able to ramp in, right? Hit that land, and then at that amount of lands that you have, you've got like one of the combo pieces that you need, and this pulls it into your hand. It seems like it would fit perfect into some janky. My jank meter is going off. It's going bing, 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 bing.
Yeah, I'm yet to see. Yeah, it doesn't.
Okay.
It doesn't seem bad at all.
No.
It does seem interesting.
Yeah, I like it. All right, and then next we got this one. This card is super good. It is Tenacious Pup. It is a 1-drop wolf at uncommon, which is great. This could
little cutie right here.
I know this thing could have easily been a rare or mythic. I feel like it is a 2/1. And whenever
1/2.
Oh, sorry, 1/2. And when Tenacious Pup enters the battlefield, you gain 1 life. When you cast the next creature spell, that creature enters the battlefield with an additional +1 counter on it, trample counter, and vigilance counter on it. That is so much for a 1-drop uncommon. Man, this card is crazy strong for a 1-drop.
It is really good.
So insane because it's the next time. So it's not this turn, right? This goes on to the next turn. So you can, whenever you cast your next creature. Man, I really love this card. I think it's one of the strongest green cards to come out in this set. All right, so Drunken, what's your favorite?
Tenacious Pup.
Yeah, dude. By a long shot. That is my favorite too. But if I had to pick another one, it would be Grizzled Huntmaster. I mean, being able to...
Probably me too, yeah.
Yeah, he's a 4/3 that draws you potentially 3 cards pretty easily. And, I mean, he seems like perfect for Selesnya deck. Who doesn't want 4 Skyclave Apparitions? Can you imagine that? I think green. What do you think overall of green? Do you think this is a one of the strong?
I think it's okay.
Mm-hmm. I think there's some pretty good ones in here. I like green.
Sweet.
All right,
move on.
All right, we got one more to go, and that is the everything else. All right, so this is the multicolor and our artifacts and lands and stuff. So Drunken, take it away.
First we have Begin Anew. We already talked about this one. Green, white for a sorcery. Destroy all creatures. Creature cards in your hand perpetually get +1/+1. I like this card. I'm yet to see it, but I think it'll be good.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, next we got Gitrog, Horror of Zavanna. Who's he's a thumbnail on our episode. I just called this one the Watsy monster that's just swallowing cash with this set. And so it's a 4-drop legendary creature, Frog Horror at rare. It's a 6/6 with menace. And here we go again. At the beginning of each combat, if Gitrog, Horror of Zava enters the battlefield, Zava is untapped. Any target or any opponent may sacrifice a creature. If they do, tap it. Then seek a land card and put it onto the battlefield tap. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, it perpetually gains, pay black and green to sacrifice this land and draw a card. We talked about this same last week. I think it's kind of meh. I mean, it's a 6/6 with menace for 4 mana, but your opponent can tap it. They can choose to, and then you get a land out of it. I don't know. I would have said this would have been great in a Omnath deck, but it has black. So you have to play 5 colors to be able. It's the one color that Omnath doesn't use. So that makes it not playable in an Omnath deck. So I don't know. I don't know what deck it fits in still. All right, what do we got next?
So real quick on that card, once again, any opponent.
Yeah.
Any opponent.
Good point.
All right, next one is Key to the Archive. It is 4 colorless mana for an artifact at rare. It says Key to the Archive enters the battlefield tapped. When Key to the Archive enters the battlefield, draft a card from Key to the Archive spellbook, then discard a card. And then it says tap, add 2 mana in any combination of colors. So that seems okay. I don't know. I haven't looked at the archives.
They're great. Yeah, it's got Time Warp in there. It's got It's got board wipes.
So this is going to go into like some kind of control deck. I like that.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's got Approach of the Second Sun, and if you're playing what's his name, the bounce guy, the companion. Where you can bounce things, and you can get multiple uses out of this too. It's got Counterspell in there, Demonic Tutor, Doomblade. This one by far looks like it has the most powerful spells out of any of these spell books that I've seen. So yeah, I really like this one. It's definitely gonna fit into some historic decks, I feel like.
Sweet.
All right, next we got Ominous Traveler. We talked about this one last week. He's a 2-drop, like just 2 colorless for a human. He's a 1/1, and whenever he enters the battlefield, you can draft a card out of his spell deck, and it perpetually gains. You may spend this mana as though it were mana of any color to cast this spell, and whenever you cast this spell, return a creature named, Ominous Traveler you control to its owner's hand. So you can keep like bouncing him and playing more of these cards. He plays like a weird set of creatures. He doesn't have like a central theme like a lot of the other ones do, right? We talked about, hey, he plays like werewolves, he plays zombies, he plays vampires and stuff. He's all over the place. Like, I don't like this card because it's so random. Yeah. It's not like focused on anything. So I don't think it's good. What do we got next?
So this is actually one of my favorite cards from the entire set. It's Soul Stealer Axe. 1 colorless mana for an artifact, equipment at uncommon. And it says equipped creature has trample. And then it says whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, seek a card with mana value equal to the damage. And it is 2 to equip. I think this card is really good. I don't know where it's going to fit, but this is like exactly what you want in equipment style decks. Is like you want the ability to search out things. Like, this is a combo piece. So if you attach this to something that is like that you're going to deal 2 damage with, and you only have like one other card that is a 2 converted mana cost or 3 converted mana cost, it'll automatically seek it. And then this is the kind of interesting like equipment stuff I want to see. It's just I think we still need a few more pieces of equipment or creatures that equipment matter that'll make this great. But I do think this card is actually really powerful.
I do too. I think I really like this. I like equipment, and this is a very unique one. I think this go great with like flyers or something like that where you're not going to get land with it unless you're dealing 0 damage, which is interesting. If you dealt 0 damage, you would pull probably like a land card or something, right? It doesn't say combat damage, seek a card with mana value equal.
But you need a deal damage, so if you're not dealing any damage, then you can't seek anything.
Oh, okay.
That makes sense.
I guess that does make sense. Yeah. Okay. All right, so you at least have to deal 1 damage. But then you're not drawing lands. You're getting a playable card into your hand. So that's pretty cool because, I think we've all played, like the mono blue deck where you're just drawing land after land after land. And you're like, oh, no, this is the end. This is the end. All right, next we got Wicker Wing Effigy. Okay, it's a 3-drop artifact creature Scarecrow at 1/4. Oh, I remember this thing. It's got Defender, and when you look at the top card of your library, you may look at the top card of your library at any time. You may cast creature spells from the top of your library. Whenever you cast a creature spell from your library, if it becomes a black bird in addition to its other types, and it has flying, and it has base power and toughness 1/1. I don't like this card. I like the ability to cast things off of the top of your deck. That's great. I don't care that it becomes a black bird. That's fine. But then it becomes a 1/1 at the same time. So that sucks. Yeah. You're potentially casting some awesome creature that becomes like a black bird 1/1. I don't think this is good.
Agreed.
Yeah. All right. And then our last card.
It is Forsaken Crossroads. We already went over this last week. It is a land at rare and says Forsaken Crossroad enters the battlefield tapped. Forsaken Crossroads enters the battlefield. Choose a color. When Forsaken Crossroad enters battlefield, scry 1 if you weren't the starting player, and then you may untap Forsaken Crossroads instead. And then it just add 1 mana of the chosen color. I think this card is good. We already talked about it last week. I think it's an interesting thing that we've never seen before. I like it a lot.
Yeah, this should have gone in my Omnath deck, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. This would be
man.
This would do good in there. This would do good. Cool. What's your favorite one out of the everything else category?
Soul Sealer Axe.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, mine's the Key to the Archive. That it's just a great artifact. I really like it. Sweet, dude. We got through it.
Yeah, man.
We got through it. That was
it's pretty long.
Yeah, I mean, it was pretty long. That was all the cards in the set, basically, and we went over all of them. I feel that was good. I feel like I'm way more informed, really, on these cards and, like, what I actually want to craft out of this set now. I feel like more, like, honed in, because I felt like today when I was crafting them, I was like, I don't really know what I should spend my wild cards on, you know,
totally.
like, which ones I should focus
Absolutely.
on. So, feel a lot better. Awesome. And with that, we will move into our unstep.
You say unstep?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, my mouth is just destroyed at this point from reading so much. Oh man, I do love that that last part. All right, so anything for end step, Drunken?
I'm ready to go because I got to take a poop.
No,
so
great.
Let's do this.
All right, well with that, then we'll go into cleanup.
Cleanup.
And cleanup is social media promo part. So we're just, we're talking about all the stuff that we got right now. We got a YouTube, we got a Discord, which is great. Lots of good people on there. Coming up with awesome things like that insight into possible multiplayer coming. They came up with in there. And so we got Twitch. We stream this on Twitch. We're streaming it right now on Twitch.
We are.
And we do this we try to do this every Thursday. It's rare that we don't. And it's generally from like 8 to 10 or whatever. Time is relative, I guess, depending where you are. And then we got an Aether Hub where we post our decks too and everything. And we'd appreciate it if you guys joined our our Discord if you want to talk with us and talk with other cool people, and leave us stuff in the comments. We like to talk to you guys about this fun game. So anything, Drunken, for cleanup?
No, let's do this.
You're ready, huh?
I'm ready.
Okay. Well, with that, then we will move into the Discard.
Discard phase. Drink 'em up, boys.
And discard is the last phase where we finish our drinks and pound it, and we say goodbye to you guys. So, any last things to say to the people? They're drunk.
I am definitely not pounding this. I haven't even sipped. I've been drinking my coffee the whole time. That's probably why I have to go to the bathroom so bad. So I'm ready to get this over with so I can go to the damn bathroom.
I want you to pound that whole thing. I mean,
absolutely.
Pretend it's a pretzel and just relax your throat, dude, and just
all right. All right, let's do this.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining us once again, and we will see you next week right here on Mana Rant. Cheers, everybody.
Bye, everyone. All right, I'm out of here.